Welcome to Speaking of Art with Jay Harmon, the colored pencil artist. All of his works are intricate pieces of original art, created entirely from colored pencils. Tune into the show to learn about Jay and his fascinating artistic abilities, as he interviews featured guests, discusses new artwork, and guides us through the many styles and techniques that make his creations so unique. So sit back, relax, and take part in this one-of-a-kind studio production. Enjoy the show.
To the Colored Pencil Artist, I'm Jay Harmon, and I really want to show you some things about using colored pencil and talking a little bit about colored pencil. Some of you who have been watching before, we've been starting a picture, and we're going to be working on it a little bit more today, take it a little bit further, and I'm going to show you a few techniques, some things that colored pencil artists can use, and some things why I prefer colored pencil over oil paints. Okay, a lot of artists are paint artists, but I'm a colored pencil artist, and the thing that makes it different, one thing is that with colored pencil there is no cleanup, and you get instantly what you're doing. You don't have to wait for the paint to dry to put another layer on it. You can do it instantly, and so it's really kind of a unique form of art style. But I'll show you a little bit more about it. And our number here, if you'd like to call in, is 1-888-994-4995. If you'd like to ask any questions, or just like to know basically about what it is that I do. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate here just a little bit about the picture that we're working on, and so just sit back, relax, get yourself a cup of coffee, glass of wine, and just relax and sit back, and here we go. We've started this picture here. And it's I had somebody come in today that looked at it and said, "Is that a horse?" And I said, "No, actually, it's a palm tree." And he said, "Oh, I see, because if at this point in the picture, it looks like it could be a horse's mane and neck right here going down there. I've done a lot of horses, but this isn't one of them. This is actually a palm tree. And it's going to be done on a sunset. And we've started it before a little bit, and you can see where it is now. I'm going to add a little bit more, starting with the sunset below here. And if you can see where I'm working here. Okay, I'm just putting in a little bit of yellow. And another thing, I'm going to show you one thing you can do with a color pencil you can't really do so much with paint, is that I can come into the small areas here, and I can fill them in. With paint, it's much harder to get into the small areas to do like that. You have to wait until after you've done your sky, and then you paint on your foreground. The trees and so on have to come after you do that. But I put that in there first, so you can see that I can actually go in between the palm fronds here and color the sky just like that, in between working with the palm fronds. Okay, we'll get a little bit over here So you can see a little yellow. Now, I'm going to go back to the other orange that I was using above here, and we'll go back. See, I don't have to, with a colored pencil, I don't have to start in a particular spot and work down. I can start pretty much anywhere I want to and just do sections, and you can see what it is that I'm working on. So let me see, get this out of the way. Up here, okay, I'm going to fill this in a little bit more. This area, this was a cloud, and I had the clouds in here, and I'm working and filling in different colors. You can see at the top we started with purples, and then we have a little bit of reds and pinks, and we're working down into the oranges, and all the way down now it's going to be pretty much orange and yellow. I'm doing the right around the clouds here. And I'll cut in here a little bit with the in between the palm fronds. And show that. And also, I said before that I don't use an eraser very much, but I do use it as a tool to actually work part of the picture, not to correct mistakes so much as to come in, and if I want to cut out a little bit more area here, I will just come in here and this is a electric eraser, and I just cut in, like that, and I make some more areas that I can add. That I can add some more orange to. And this is a lighter area here, so not so much the orange. Okay, so you can see there now I'm starting to get into a little bit of the yellower colors as I go down. And as I go along, this is the first layer, so it's going to look a little rough, but that's okay, because we're going to go over it again, and it'll smooth out the more you fill in all the areas, it's called, the rougher areas in here is called tooth in the, on the paper, because it's not completely smooth. So the pencil, the colored pencil has wax, and the wax will leave some residue in what's in the tooth, in the little tiny holes in here, and so there's little grooves, and that's where the wax will leave behind there, and that's how the color comes together there. So I've got this started here. Okay, you can see that's a little bit there. I'm going to take a light pink. This is called Deco Peach, and I'm going to take this color and put it just right in here a little bit to make part of the cloud. It's going to go over here, and part of the cloud up here. So I'm trying to make it more of an interesting sky than just to have just a plain orange and red kind of sunset. It's nice to have some clouds in a sunset. If you've enjoyed sunsets like I do, I go out and take walks in the nature areas in the evening just to see the sunsets. And there are some beautiful sunsets, and I usually find there's like 3 different parts to a sunset. There's the pre-sunset that comes when the sun is just starting to set, okay, and then there's the mid-sunset when it's just at the horizon, when the sun is going to the horizon. And the third is after the sun has set over the horizon, the sun rays come up, and that's what reflects on the clouds, and you get all your colors like that. So it's really interesting, and no 2 sunsets, if there's clouds involved, are ever the same, and they're mostly beautiful. So I love to work with sunsets and to color sunsets. And now I've got some orange here, and I've had some yellow orange here. I put it together like that. And now what I'm going to do to make it blend a little bit more, I'm going to take my colorless blending pencil. Let's see if we can see that here. Okay, the colorless blender. And I'm going to bring that in here between the colors and just smooth it out. Okay, this fills in some of the tooth and makes it so the colors blend together real nicely. And you could do entire sections like this, or just a little bit if you want to. And this is what really gives it the nice colors that come together so nicely in a sunset. Okay.
Jay, people
Yes.
are writing into me asking me if the pencil works better when it's being used at an angle. In other words, for what you're doing there, does it work better that way?
When I'm doing large areas, I tend to use it more at an angle. When I'm doing details, I like to use the point, okay, a lot. And some color pencil artists like to, they have a technique, it's called stippling, where they, or pointillism, where they use the point of the pencil to make it. But this is good for smaller areas, like if I'm doing a still life or something like that. It's good to use the point of a pencil to fill it in. But when you're doing large areas like sky, I like to use more of the side of the pencil because I can use larger areas, and then I can put 2 or 3 or 4 colors together and then blend them together with the blending pencil.
And they're also asking, last week they had asked about putting a boat on the set. This week they want to know, when should they add more to the piece? In other words, if you wanted to put a bird in the trees, let's say, for example, I think is what Mark is talking about, and should he do it now or wait till the piece is over?
For details like that, unless if it's going to become a integral part of the piece, like the palm frond is here, that you put in early. But if you want to add a bird, you're not sure if you want to put a bird in it, it's best to wait until you finish the picture, look at it and say, should I put a bird in, or would that be too much? Because you might add it early thinking that it's going to look good, but then when you're finished, you kind of wish, well, maybe I shouldn't have put that in there because it's just taking up too much room. So the best thing to do is just to, if you have small objects you want to put in there that are not essential part of the picture, but rather a small detail you want to add, it's best to do it until after you see where your picture is going. You don't have to wait until the very end, but wait until you see how it's developing.
And Valerie also wants to know, from Florida, wants to know if she should put a light on the work so that she can get better angles of how light reflects on the piece?
Oh, absolutely. If you have, the more light you have, the better you can see what you're working with, and it's better to have really, really good light than to work in a darkly lit, a dimly lit area. And be careful with the lights that you don't get too much shadow on one side. Don't have too direct light, so you have more filled in the area with light that you can see it.
And people are also, this is another gentleman from New York City wants to know, can he add texture? Now this is an interesting question. Texture to the end piece, and how would you do it?
How would you add texture? Depending on the texture that you want to do, actually you can do it a few different ways, a lot. See, myself, that I work in detail, I can draw texture. You know, if I want something to look like wood, I just actually draw the different grains and make it look like that. But you can, if you're working with paper and you want to have texture when you're drawing, you can put something like a rough surface behind the paper, and if you have a certain texture that you want to do, like for instance bricks or something like that. I've done that before, where I wanted to make something look like bricks, so I put a rough texture behind the paper. In fact, you can even get templates that are texture templates, so you can use to put behind your paper, and then you just draw on the paper, and it only picks up where the template is there, so you'll get the rough texture like that.
Very nice. I like that.
Okay.
Templates might be the easiest. Where can you get templates? Any art supply store?
At an art supply store or Amazon. It's
Very nice.
a good way to get it. So okay, well we're gonna take a break for a minute, and when I come back, we'll take some more questions and work a little bit more on this picture. I hope you're having fun. Our number is 1-888-994-4995, and my website is coloredpencilartist.com. Okay, see you in a bit.
Jay Harmon, exclusively in the Gallery of Boca. Jay Harmon captures the essence of really creative and captivating mind. Jay Harmon brings the light into the darkness on majority of his pieces, using a negative background to highlight the details of some of his looks. I know some artists use white canvases, but he thrives on a black canvas. And here's the kicker: he only uses pencil, colored pencil, graphite pencil, and pencil for his art pieces. Yes, I know it's hard to fathom that these beautiful pieces came from pencil, but yes, they did. And the only way you can experience Jay Harmon is if you come to the Gallery of Boca. Jay Harmon, an unconventional artist with a unique story behind every canvas.
So now we're going a little bit into working with this sunset picture, and if you please have any questions, please call in at 1-888-994-4995, and I'm happy to answer any questions as we're finishing up this picture here. Well, finishing up this section of the picture. I very rarely sit down and have a picture that I do in one day or one take. It usually sometimes takes me a few weeks to finish them, but I'm trying to show you here just techniques to get you started here. So right here now we're into this, and where I said before, I took my eraser and I just erased some more areas between the palm fronds, so I can add a little bit more light, and that's okay. You know, we just erased a little bit there, and I blended the sky here. And now I want to go back and add the palm frond. Again, a little bit more. And I'm using my black pencil. Let's see it over here. Here we go. And it's a Prismacolor black noir pencil. And I'm just going to finish back here and make these palm fronds a little bit smoother. And see where the areas are that could do this. Okay, here's just a few of the areas, few of the details on the palm frond that show how this is going. Okay, now one thing that I did here on the picture, if you see this here, to make it look three-dimensional. I like to make things look three-dimensional. And if you look closely here, I've added some light blue lines up here. And this gives the indication of the palm fronds that are coming down this way instead of in the back or straight down. So we have the light blue over the black here, and that gives the feeling of more three-dimensional, like you're looking at it and it's not just a flat surface. I like to make all my pictures due to lighting and different things look like it's more three-dimensional. And here I'm just finishing up this area. With the palm fronds here. And if you've ever really looked at palm trees and how they grow, they always kind of go down when their branches kind of wilt down, and they're made. They're sturdy like that. They're very sturdy, so they can take heavy winds and they can stay in the wind and blow like that. But usually when they're still, they're very very much like that. Just very calm looking. And palm trees, I find to look at palm trees is very comforting, very serene. If you have ever really been like at a sunset beach with palm trees, it's very, very enjoyable, and I really like it. I like to go to the beach at sunset or go somewhere where there's palm trees at sunset. In my backyard, I have palm trees that I go out. I'm a Florida native, so I'm here and I look at the palm trees with the sunset, and it's just it just really brings you so much comfort and enjoyment. And you can wherever you find enjoyment. That's why I said even when you're working on a picture, to just make yourself comfortable. Just maybe have a glass of wine. Just put on your slippers and don't think that it's something you have to get all nervous about, because it's not. It's just a relaxing thing to do, and it's something that I think that you can really enjoy if you just think of it that way, as just a very calming thing. Put on some music. Put on some nice, whatever your favorite music is. I usually have music that the style music that I listen to is the kind of music that puts me in the mood for whatever the picture is. Like something like this, I like to listen to nice smooth music, nice things like one of my favorite artists. And if you're not familiar with her, you can You can look it up as Enya. Enya has some great music to listen to when you're working on a piece of relaxing artwork. So
Jay, I want
Yes.
to know if you're a beginning artist, can you get a template? In other words, you're drawing this
Yes.
because you are an artist, and you're seeing it, you're putting it together, you're doing it piece by piece.
right.
Is it easier if somebody gets a template to begin, just to get the color schemes down and then
Sure.
go to another level?
Sure. Yeah. Can you get question is, can you get a template to use if you're just beginning to do color pencil artwork? Yes, you can get. There are a lot of ways to beginners can start. I would really recommend, if you really are serious into this and you want to know what colors to use and how to do it, to practice, you can get coloring books. And these color by number books you can get, and they have them for colored pencils. And they have different things that you can learn how the colors go together and how they can do that. And you can create your own pieces or ones that all there are is just an outline. You color them. You don't have to go by the numbers. You can do it yourself. But you can learn that way how to build a picture and to build it in color, a color picture, and how to use color pencils, how to layer them, how to put them together, how to blend them. And you can do all this through that way. And then when you get a little bit braver, you can go out on your own and try to draw your own pictures and see what you can do.
And also, they want to know, have you ever added paint to your pictures?
Yes, I have. I have worked in multimedia before, where part of it was done in pencil, and then another part of it was done in acrylic, and it was it's like two different sessions, but they do work well together. But once you put the paint on, it pretty much is on there, because you won't be able to put more color pencil very well over the paint. You can, but it's more of an effort, and you don't get the same texture. But I have done that, and a picture that I have right now in the works is one that I'm painting of that I'm drawing of a paintbrush with red paint dripping down, but it's all done in color pencil. So you can do it however you like.
And they also want to know the size of the canvas. Does it change your approach to filling it in?
The sides of the
In
canvas?
other words, the bigger the canvas,
Oh, the size.
the size.
Okay.
Like if that was a bigger piece,
Yep.
does it change your approach?
A little bit. If it's a smaller piece, then you really have to think. You have to think for the area that you're doing. If it's a smaller piece, then obviously you're not going to have as much space to put all the details you want to do. But you can, on a smaller piece, you can zoom in on the details, and you can show more details and just not do as much background. Like if you wanted to do a beach scene and you only have a smaller area, then you can maybe put in some more of the palm trees, show the sun a little bit, maybe smaller, but the colors, and add a bird in it. Do something like that to really to work out in a small area. In a big area, you're more free to do a lot more things. But
Interesting.
okay. So all right. Well, anyway, I'm hope that everybody is really following along and getting some tips. And I think today we covered things like a little bit about blending and how you can use an eraser to actually enhance your picture, and you can use the blending pencils, and you can use colors to make your picture look more three-dimensional. And these techniques.
Are they different types of pencils?
There are many different types of colored pencils. I prefer Prismacolor. That's what I use. I've tried many different kinds of pencils, and this has the best texture. And because of the amount of wax in the pencil, and that's why I prefer Prismacolor. Okay, so anyway, thank you for joining us today, and please come back next week. We'll be working some more on this picture and taking more questions. And our number here again is 1-888-994-4995. And if anybody is interested in learning more, I'm available to give classes online. And if anybody is interested in having a commission, I would be more than happy to commission a picture for you. You can have an original. And so anyway, thank you for watching, and have a great day.
Welcome to Speaking of Art with Jay Harmon, the colored pencil artist. All of his works are intricate pieces of original art, created entirely from colored pencils. Tune into the show to learn about Jay and his fascinating artistic abilities, as he interviews featured guests, discusses new artwork, and guides us through the many styles and techniques that make his creations so unique. So sit back, relax, and take part in this one-of-a-kind studio production.
Jay Harmon exclusively